Hey, happy, Wednesday already. We made it halfway there. I don't know what we've been doing, but working a lot.
And we have a special guest
Yes,
with
we
us,
do.
Amy Smith, here
Amy.
locally, Director of Customer Service with Global Cannabinoids.
Another super woman here on the show.
I try.
Yeah.
So tonight
go
we're
ahead,
talking
Jason.
about severe skin conditions and CBD, and also where your CBD products are manufactured, which
For
is
sure.
a huge deal.
Yeah.
So take it away, Dr. D.
Yeah, right on. Hey, everyone. So thanks for watching. One of the biggest things that I am accomplishing early in the kind of Dr. D show here, the video series and window into all things kind of cannabis and hemp that I am developing brand-wise or raw material-wise, is the people, right? Who are all the people that are actually behind brands like mine, and putting a face to those folks, right? Who are all of us everyday working Americans that are highly invested in bringing you products that we can stand behind, that you know where they come from, you know the people they come from, you know the lab tests, you even know maybe the farmers of where these products come from. And I think that's really where having someone like Amy come on the show is so important, because a lot of people see me every day, but Amy is the one that I am texting all day long, along with Beth and Melissa and, many other people, to actually make these products really come full circle. And, Amy, a lot of people kind of know how I got into the industry, that I was, growing cannabis ever since I was a young man, and then went to medical school, study, liked entrepreneurship, and was either going to go kind of do doctor stuff or work with plants as either horticulturalist or genetic engineering. And then I was able to kind of bring them all together and make these brands and do telemedicine and kind of bring it full circle.
Your dream come true.
Super dream come true. How did you kind of find your way into working with, really being such a specialist in the industry to actually manage a brand like mine, or to manage a production facility in the hemp space?
Great. Thank you for saying such nice things. I did not have the same journey. Not at
No.
all. No.
Maybe better?
No, just so different,
Okay.
really. But I grew up in that time when, you went to school and it was say no to drugs, and marijuana was the great gateway drug, and
Right.
no one wanted to try it
Right.
for fear they would fry their brain cells. And, that was the child or teen I was.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to try it. I was terrified. So about 3 years ago, 3.5 now, I guess, I met my guy, and he introduced me to marijuana because he saw me struggling with so much daily anxiety, and I was on Ativan, and I still couldn't shake the nerves I had from stress at work. I was in corporate America, and he said, "I think you should try it. I think it's going to help you." And after a few missteps with that, I found so much success with it. So that's what led me to CBD.
And guess what? As a cannabis doctor, a lot of the folks that I used to kind of go to conferences with were these really common sense kind of doctors when it came to cannabis. And so guess what most people that don't respond well to cannabis do? They don't use it. Right? Yeah. So if you're genetically kind of wired so that you like cannabis, or that you respond well to cannabis, and you're using that in a responsible way, to me as a doc, right, it was always just this huge stark comparison to seeing so many of my friends going out and drinking and having negative effects, and just knowing how bad that was for people, or seeing people do other drugs or whatever, and then
trying to cope,
and then
life,
and just having this inner intelligence to know, okay, I'm just staying home and using a little cannabis or CBD and feel way better, and I'm up at 6 a.m. the next day to just keep crushing out work. And that really led me to go down this path to bring all these products to people. And
when people say what's the thing, a sentence or whatever I'd say about CBD, what's my selling point, and I'll say it's everything that's great about marijuana, but you don't get high.
Right.
So it's what I was taking marijuana for, to help my relaxation, to help my stress.
So you got into cannabis as a therapeutic agent, which is great.
Yeah, and CBD does all of that.
Question?
Yeah, Dr. D, I just want to remind everybody, if they have a question for Amy or you, they can call live at 702-763-9518. It's in the description, it's on the screen right above Dr. D.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, guys, feel free to call in. We are definitely looking forward to interacting with everyone now, early in the show, and then also, next week when Amy and I are on the show together, we're going to have fun things like bath bombs and lotions, and we're going to be doing fun giveaways and teaching you more about the stuff that we are, in detail making together and bringing you guys. So Amy, to jump back into it, so you found cannabis, it was therapeutic for you. One of my other lead sales guys, that was really his big journey into CBD and cannabis. He broke his femur, and he uses cannabis and CBD, several times during the day, and it's just intimately part of his life, and he uses no other pain control. So it is really real for a lot of people.
And you don't have all those side effects that people get from the pain medicines.
I don't take any sort of ADHD medicines or other stuff. Just a little bit of CBD and cannabis goes a long way. So how did you then find your way into the manufacturing side of the CBD world?
Yeah, I started working for Global Cannabinoids in just a customer care position, sales position, if you will, and just really got involved in the business. And Ryan took me under his wing. I'm really grateful. He's a great leader.
So you basically came out of just, what were you doing before you worked for Global?
I was 20 years or 19 years with Landstar, the transportation company.
Okay.
So I have a background
in
operations
management,
logistics, supply chain.
Logistic. Okay.
Yeah,
okay. Cool. So you were doing.
I was involved in administration. I did contract administration for Landstar's agents.
And then Ryan taught you how to do it into the CBD space.
Yeah, exactly. He taught me a lot more about CBD too than I knew before, and just educated me.
But
he does that for everybody.
the real world demands of like a real business.
Well, the customers need that education.
High paced. Yeah. Okay, so then you learned to love it, and you got interested in all the science and the fun of all the products.
Bought some gummies. People responded to the gummies. They felt they got some relief and some enjoyment out of a gummy. I mean, it was not that intimidating, for people to try it. And,
low dose, safe. People can kind of find their own way.
Yeah. That was in Neptune Beach in Florida. And then my boyfriend and I just decided to move out here 6 months ago and really just do it on site and get a lot more experience, hands-on experience, which has been
So
really
you've been
blessing.
involved in helping manage some of the projects related to some of the Dr. D products that we've been rocking and rolling with, right?
Yes.
So what is one of your favorites that we've made together?
Do you know that you've taught me a lot? Because you taught me about doing my due diligence and making sure, because if I don't do it right, I'm going to be redoing it for Dr. D, and I don't like to do that. So instead, now I know to do it the right way.
Well, we're getting kind of famous.
We go
People
through
will
the
be
oils
checking on
before
us.
we make the products, make sure that's what you want, and the outcome's going to be what you desire.
Well, I think this is the magic of whatever, the industry's in the phase where we're building the railroad, right? And there's room for creative folks to collaborate, and there are folks that have, the industry's moving at such a fast pace, there's not a lot of places where maybe there's literally everyone perfect. Right, you have to bring in people with different skill sets. Someone's built the lab, but there's not a doctor there to maybe make something that's been to all the conferences, while someone else has been building the infrastructure, the big B2B sales channels. So when I'm put into a kitchen, right, that I can cook in and make cool stuff and take all these little learning points that I've gleaned along the way from conferences, and then come into a place like you where all the nuts and bolts, but also know how to make stuff happen and move through the supply chain, and bird dog those projects. We've gotten some cool stuff done, I'd say, pretty quickly, right?
I think so. I really do. I'm excited about, especially this Lavender Tropical, which you've come out with, because again, it's given me personal relief, which I always love that when I can support a product that's actually helped me in some way, and not just talk it. People think, you're in sales. Of course you're going to say that. I think we
might sell 1 million of them. People really like them.
Yeah. What is it you put in there? The PEA?
So remember, a lot of folks, they just don't really think that much about stuff when they put it in there. They'll put in this terpene or that terpene, but how much do they put in? What percentage does it go in at? So when you break it down, what we did with this topical is we looked at the plant, and we looked at the research, and we got a base of terpenes that is representative of a plant, right? So you have a base of many terpenes in there, and then we fortify it with 2 that have the best data as being really anti-inflammatory, beta-carotene and humulene, right? So in the lab, we actually have 2 big liter bottles that Beth ordered. And
terpene isolates, you mean?
Yeah, so we have 2 of those big ones, and then we have one that has been specifically recreated to represent a really popular strain of cannabis. So you get a wide breadth of terpenes on the lab profile, and you're getting bigger spikes of humulene and beta-carotene.
Is it the same blend you did in the pen?
Yeah, so it's really close to it. So it is close, right? So we're really trying to basically fortify the topical skincare with terpenes that have research that they behave similar to CBD and how they interact with CB2. So it's anti-inflammatory in effect. And then humulene seems to interact with some heat shock, protein cascades, and other interesting things that are anti-inflammatory. So yeah, so you already have those 6 terpenes in there. You have a cool, lotion base, which isn't greasy. It absorbs fast. It's nice. You have the aromatherapy effect of the lavender oil, which we already know is nice and real and calming. So that's real. And then you have a ton of the full spectrum, in this case, CBD distillate, right? So it then has CBC, THC, and actually, a lot of people don't realize when they talk about skincare and cannabinoids that THC in some of the research is actually more anti-inflammatory than CBD. So that's why when you're talking about making really neat cutting-edge skincare blends with cannabinoids, you would like to use a full-spectrum oil. You'd like to fortify with other terpenes and other cannabinoids because the research shows they have that entourage. And that they work, differently, well together.
And what's it? Just to splinter off that, because this really is applicable to my family. I hope they're watching. But one of the things I was telling my mom about the lotion for her skin, because she also suffers from severe dry skin, is with it being a topical full spectrum, even if she were to be tested, it's unlikely that she would test positive. But they're real sticklers in Kentucky, where my family is. So I want to make sure that they understand about full spectrum products.
There's a medical answer to that, right? So you're going to get all that full spectrum benefit in your skin. You're not going to get high or test positive for THC from using a topical that we make. So there's a difference between a topical and a transdermal. All right, transdermal products are usually like long-term, long-acting patches, and they contain special ingredients that are called skin penetrants, and they basically interact with the phospholipid bilayer of your skin to make it more permeable to drugs.
That's 6 years or 8 years of college there, folks.
Oh,
I don't
man.
know. That's a lot.
It was a lot. Yeah, we studied that so many times.
Not everybody gets the MD.
It was brutal.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, so it makes your skin more permeable to the drug, whereas this really doesn't have that sort of ingredient in there. So you shouldn't test positive for using this. And then the last ingredient that is really cool is actually an endocannabinoid your body makes, and that is called PEA, or palmitoyl ethanolamide, and they synthesize that in a lab. It's been dosed in humans and animals for years. It is safe, largely not really understood as how it works very well until the more recent years, and it has really good data on pain and inflammation when you give it orally, showing improvement systemically as well as in skin in both animals and dogs. So that's why we use it in both this and the relief capsule that we came out with. Let's see if we have it here. Yep. So this is probably one of the coolest products just for affordability that we've come out with. And that takes that same PEA that we put into the lotion, and it combines it with 50 milligrams of CBD. And I'm not going to tell you how many milligrams of PEA that go in this capsule, but it's a lot. And it goes along with the research that's out there. So this actually retails for $109.99, and that's 3,000 milligrams of CBD plus that other endocannabinoid in there. And there's 60 capsules, so that's literally enough for you to take one in the morning and one at night for a month and get that super powerful anti-inflammatory combination of those two compounds. So this is cool, and the early data that was presented at the ICRS, the International Cannabinoid Research Society in Leiden, Netherlands, last year was that these two compounds mixed together were showing a ton of promise for inflammatory bowel conditions, right? Like ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, things like that. So yeah, we're rapidly translating some of this early research into things that, we can't make any sort of health claims. We didn't run the $1 million trial on this stuff or anything like that, but these compounds are real. People can try them. They have a very good safety profile from the other research that's been done on them, and it's pretty cool to be able to offer it literally in stock right now. They could go to the website, buy that.
I think so many people don't understand that they turn to pain medication because, if they could work on the inflammation, because the inflammation of the nerves, right, is what's sparking those pain feelings that people get a lot of the times.
Yeah, there's a lot of different pain. A lot of what you can tell people without making any sort of a health claim is that the pro-inflammatory conditions that are created by long-term inflammatory conditions like arthritis or whatnot, can what they call basically condition the nerves to fire more easily, right? And if you can reduce long-term chronic inflammation, right, you might desensitize some of those nerves to fire. And, there's other ways that CBD can help with pain. It's been shown in research as well.
Yeah, one of the things I think with your brand is that people can finally find a brand that they can trust.
Well, they can talk to us live.
Yeah,
that's pretty
that's
cool.
Important. Well, a lot of people. I mean, again, my family's from back east, and I talk to them a lot, and they're not as educated on it yet. It's still that kind of has a stigma, if you will.
Sure.
Like everyone thinks it's the same as marijuana.
Well,
or
I think one of the best.
I
guess one of the most striking examples of how the times have changed to me is always when I think back to when we were planting hemp seeds last spring, and there was like the 6-year-old kid of the farmer, planting these little marijuana plants with us. And it's just like when we were 6 years old, no one was planting a hemp plant. If we'd seen that, we would have been like, that is definitely weed.
That's true.
So I think that is, showing how fast times are changing. And I think now with folks like us talking about this and just teaching people some of the things about how, these are the receptors, they're called TRPV1 that your CBD and your lotion is interacting with. And that's why you might feel, a pain relieving effect, and teaching people that and being able to show them some of the research papers and being able to show them how the raw materials go from the farm to their nightstand in a product. And then who are some of the people that are shepherding this process is really powerful. As far as
because there's snake oil salesmen out there right now, that
Yeah,
are
there's-
talking products that don't have any cannabinoids in it, and then people take it and they go, "Oh, it didn't help me. I tried."
Well, there's no guidance behind the brand, and there is no forward thinking in a lot of those white label brands, right? Whereas with us, CBG is now on the menu. You have amazing capsule combinations with different herbs. We have a CBD-CBG blend that comes out over in a couple of weeks. A lot of cool stuff. So, the medically minded thinking here is going to carry a long way, and people are going to gravitate towards that we have a lot of things for them to choose from, to try. Yeah. What's up, Jason?
Hey, Dr. D, do we want to maybe reiterate Amy's experience with the lavender body lotion as well as your parents, myself?
Yeah, right on. So, Amy, when I first had this formulated, right, and we got the product in, it was something that was just flying in and out of the shelves, and you hardly had even gotten a bottle to test from the lab. And so you were finally like, hey, Dr. D, everybody keeps talking about your lotion and how much they like it. Can I have a bottle? I was like, yeah, here, have 3. And so you went home and tried it, and sure enough, you saw me the next week at the loading dock or something like usual, and you're like, man, like this stuff really works. So what happened? How did you try? What'd you do with it?
I had moved here, like I said, 6 months ago from Florida, and I still could not get my skin conditioned to this dry atmosphere. So I was telling you that every time I shaved my legs, I felt like I had like scabies, so much dry skin. It was
Irritation,
just really irritated and
red,
pink and
right.
not looking good. And you said, use my lavender lotion. I
Try
said,
it.
I don't have any. And that's what you went to the Dr. D van and grabbed me some bottles, and I'm about on my last one, so I'm going to have to re-up pretty soon because I really enjoy
we've got
it.
some more.
And you're right, this smell too, because I gravitate to the lavender bath bomb, which you have coming out very
Oh,
soon.
I know, it matches the lotion.
I
It is
know,
adorable.
it's perfect, yeah. And I love those smells in the evening because it is very relaxing. So it works really well for me.
And so you had it actually clear up some of the redness
Oh
on
yeah,
the leg.
completely. Within 3 days, all the redness was gone, and then all that loose skin started sloughing off. I hate to be too descriptive here, and it just put the moisture back in. It's holding it in. It's like locked it in my skin.
When I've used it on some spots, if I'll get a little bit of acne on my back or something like that, I noticed that too. It's the 3rd to 4th day, and it'll start to go away.
Yeah.
And I've done tests where I'll put it on one spot and not put it on the other, and there's a definite difference. It's pretty interesting.
I should try it. I get a little breakout here or there. I should try it and see how it does.
So,
I think with
yeah,
those
you should-
anti-inflammation properties,
you
it
should-
would kind of help with an acne spot. Too.
Yeah, well, and it helps reduce oil secretion, and it's antibacterial. So, yeah, you should try some stuff, what we have coming out soon, which will be a really high serum for your face with multiple cannabinoids. It'll be a
Sounds interesting.
full spectrum CBD, CBG blend fortified with anti-inflammatory traits.
You sound like you're doing an infomercial.
The skincare is going to be fun. We are going to have a blast. I was actually
You have a
talking to
personal
Ryan.
lubricant coming out?
We do. The girls in the lab are working on that. They have not reported back in a week or two. I'm a little worried what they're doing.
I'm expecting a sample tomorrow.
It should be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope it's good by this time.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, next level.
We do strive for perfection. Yes, go ahead, Jason.
Back to the lavender body lotion.
Yes, the lavender body lotion. So, yeah, so my mom used that in conjunction with the tincture on her hand to massage that daily into where she had a lot of arthritis in her thumb. And so that was part of her daily regimen to help control her arthritis, along with a 25 or 50 milligram dose of a full spectrum CBD tincture twice a day is what worked for her.
And what she told me is that she uses the lotion after
Sounds
she
good.
golfs.
Right.
Because her thumb and her hands really sore. And your father actually told me that he uses it for his low back pain.
The stuff works. We have had so many positive stories about the lavender lotion. Really have it.
And you want to reiterate kind of like the difference, whereas you're trying to get the CBD via the tincture, even in your blood, morning and night. And that's really targeting, chronic conditions.
Yeah.
Lotion,
No, for sure. So Jason's hitting on a good point. So a lot of people, they just don't know a lot about CBD or how they should take it, or should I just put it on my skin? Is that enough? And the answer is probably no, right? What we always coach people as docs to do is to get on an oral dose as an anti-inflammatory, right? Like twice a day, based on some of the literature where you see different half-lives of CBD. So if you can start taking that anti-inflammatory dose once in the morning, once at night, and then see if that works for you, whether you have a condition or not, right? Whether you have pain or anxiety. Remember, part of what so many people were excited about in the beginning of CBD was just the general anti-inflammatory effect, because there were so many links to chronic diseases in humans from chronic low levels of inflammation. So whether there's something wrong with you or not, the concept of taking a daily dose of CBD to knock down inflammation every day is probably a very real idea, right? So that's why I take it, to try and prevent certain inflammation. And I know there's some early data in cardiovascular disease that it could have implications to help folks like that, and cardiovascular disease runs strongly in my family.
Me too.
So whether you're taking it for a specific thing or just taking it almost as an anti-inflammatory vitamin, taking something by mouth every day with CBD in it is definitely something you should do in addition to using a topical cream, right? So what we usually tell everyone is you take that dose twice a day of CBD, and then you use your topical as needed, and that's kind of a nice regimen. Some people that have anxiety, then we'd also tell them to take carry a CBD vape pen around with them, and then to use that for breakthrough anxiety episodes and take like 3 inhalations. And see if that would work for them instead of having to take a Xanax or something. So, lots of different ways to try to incorporate this stuff into your life.
Monica, who's known as the Spirit Queen.
Monica, how are
wants
you?
to know if you're taking questions. Yes, we
Hey,
are.
Monica, we
Hi,
sure
Monica.
are. I remember Monica, you guys from the dispensary over at Reef, I do believe is where we met, and you had a really positive experience with the lotion, actually. I think she was very sick and had some really neat results. But you could call Monica, you can dial in and talk to us, you can text chat to Jason and he can ask us questions.
You can just comment in the
Comment away.
below the video. But while she's getting her question ready, let's talk a little bit more about what's going on with Global Cannabinoids and how
I think,
our Dr. DHC product
I
is
think-
manufactured.
I think really what I want to jump into Amy with is, we've kind of talked about how we're both involved in that manufacturing process and managing different labs that have chemists in them that are GMP and FDA regulated, and shepherding those projects through and managing that in, at volume, at scale, where we're picking up pallets of tinctures and pallets of lotion at a time, and then that has to go to a fulfillment center. But I think Amy is even more interesting in how her connections to small town and rural America really play into this story here, and how that is important to her and to me to get these products back to all of our friends at an affordable price without a bunch of big corporate interests jacking it up. And so I think that's cool. Maybe you can kind of reflect a little bit about maybe some of your friends back at home that you're like, wow, you know, we have these product lines, we're making them together, this is really neat. And then not only that, if people actually want to join with us and sell these products, there's ways for them to do that too.
The affiliate program, that's amazing. Just to be able to offer that to people.
So who back at home do you think of when you think about, you know, CBD, and where are these folks?
In Kentucky.
Okay, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Right on.
You know, you're from Virginia. So
Virginia, I get it. The Piedmont, the rolling hills of Virginia, Charlottesville.
Yeah.
I got sent to a little preppy high school. It was all right. But I spent a lot of time on the Chesapeake Bay. Kayaking, fishing.
Yeah.
Do you know that I was a professional sea kayak and fishing guide for like a year and a half, 2 years?
No.
Yeah.
When did you have time to do that?
Yeah, that was a good question.
I mean,
like during med school.
Yeah. Well, you did have several years then.
I did.
That's a lot of schooling.
It was. Yeah,
good on you.
It was good. I had a guide who worked under me who ran it.
If you asked my parents, they'd say I went to school long enough to be a doctor. Unfortunately.
Well, she's
I didn't make that happen.
Now she's working with a doctor and pharmacist-led team to craft.
My mom was a nurse.
Artisanal.
I don't know if I told you that. So.
Well, the nurses are all about this stuff now.
Well, being raised by a sensitive nurse, I became a sensitive type person. So I'm not only a little bit creative, but also very caring. And spending the extra time with clients to understand their needs, like yourself.
Well, the nurses are always the ones that have the best relationships with the patients, because they get the most patient time with all the patients. So as a doctor, with all of these products, the nurses are invaluable. And actually, the nurses are some of the biggest lobbyists to get some of these products into the hospital, because the nurses were some of the ones that weren't even allowed to chart some of these products in the past or allow them into the patient's rooms. And so now it's just a totally different game. And so
where they are in Kentucky, I was going to say, is they still have to go through the pain clinics because of all the opioid addiction and things up there. So they have to go to the pain clinics to get their medications, and unfortunately, they can't take any product that terrifies them to think there could be trace THC. And
okay, looks like we have a caller.
Hi, caller.
Hey, it's Monica.
Hi, it's Monica.
I can hear. I hear Monica perfectly. You hear her, Amy?
I do.
Check.
Hi, Monica.
All right, you're live with us. Hey, so how was? Have you been back to Reef recently?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I was just there 2 days ago.
Nice. Love Reef. The North Vegas location. Good stuff.
Yeah, Reef is a really good spot. I do have a question for Dr. D real quick.
Yes, go ahead.
I wanted to know, my daughter, she's 14, and she has some dry skin, under her chin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's psoriasis or what. She does have an appointment for a dermatologist. But before I take her, I wanted to know if there's something that I can use, what kind of product I can use that doesn't have CBD, or it's not CBD, but something medical that can help with the dry skin. Yeah, from the hemp maybe.
Oh, that's not. It has no CBD in it. Well, I mean, there's definitely data if you just wanted to try it.
Or that's safe for a child to use, a 14-year-old to use.
Sure. Yeah, there's no indications that you wouldn't be able to use a hemp base. You could even use hemp oil, right? Even without CBD in it, there's interesting properties about that are anti-inflammatory in skin. But there's no real reason that you couldn't take your child to the doctor and talk to them about a hemp or cannabinoid-based cream working for the dry skin or the psoriasis. They'd probably be pretty open to it at this point. I'd say most of the dermatologists are really interested in these products.
So do you
right?
know one?
And you
do
may
know one that we
Do you have a referral?
a
do you
referral.
know of a doctor that we could go to?
Yeah. Actually, I can definitely link you up with some different integrative medicine doctors that we know around here offline. I can give you a referral to some folks, and they may actually even be able to help you over telemedicine. A lot of the dermatologists are now using different telemedicine platforms, and they can look at different minor conditions that are common and make recommendations and send prescriptions literally e-prescribed with a smartphone, literally looking at your daughter's chin. So that's cool stuff that's developing now that we're involved in as well. And I think that really dovetails back into what Amy is all about, and that's bringing it back to her friends in Kentucky And that's what we're really about as well, with building these apps and like the telemedicine. So we're actually building a whole telemedicine app and website where for basically a super affordable or almost no fee, you can go through and talk to a doctor, and then they can help you literally get either a hemp or CBD product or a prescription mailed to your home in 2 days. So that is definitely, I think, what we're about. And then, you guys had a really positive experience, both with, I think, some of the tinctures, right, and the lotion when you were in the hospital, or what happened?
Yes, unfortunately, I was in the hospital. I had really bad pneumonia, but using your products and the CBD oil actually helped me out a lot. It helps me out a lot with the stress levels because I have really bad anxiety. And what I got from you is actually perfect. It helps me out in almost every level. So I do appreciate your help with that.
Yeah, for sure. And then you've also used the lotion. I think you had some like chest wall pain, and it helped. And I just think that's really cool because
it's the chest and the lower back.
Here's Amy, on the show, right, that was intimately involved in making that, right? So it's always just cool to connect everybody and see people.
I'm glad you were able to get some relief and feel better.
Yeah, and see different people in the supply chain that touch all of these products, because we do. You guys know that this product is being sold in Australia right now already? Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
That is cool.
That's
it's
awesome.
wild. So,
I think we should promote you guys even more.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
You. That's so nice.
Yeah, for sure. Well, stay in touch. Talk to Jason a little bit more offline, and, he'll hook you up, and maybe we can send you something for calling in and being such good sports. We have some really cool new products that I actually want to send you guys to try, like these relief capsules. They're kind of awesome.
One of the things we're talking about, I'm giving the products to my family in Kentucky.
Yeah.
I'm involved in
Hey, Amy, are there any... is there anyone special in the audience that we should talk to right now or mention that maybe if they comment, I do have my laptop right here, Amy, and we're kind of technologically competent. We could literally just push sample orders through to fulfillment and send out free stuff to people. If you have someone watching in the audience that we should send a free sample.
That would be amazing.
I mean, is there anybody that might say hi? Is Helen out there?
My parents. They're supposed to be watching, so if they are, then that'd be sweet.
Well, if Helen is out there, say hi to Amy and let us know where we can, let Jason know where we can send some of these lovely products that Amy's making.
That would be amazing. My mom, like I said, her dry skin.
We can literally have this drop shipped, tomorrow. It'll ship out of fulfillment in Phoenix.
I bet you could, because you're efficient like that.
We got it going on.
But that's the thing with the trust, is I was saying, where we're from, our neck of the woods, people want to have a brand that they can trust. So we're not just hawking any product.
You think we should send them any of these?
Maybe not. Let's hold back on
Definitely the relief capsules, though.
Yeah.
Relief.
For sure. Maybe the CBG tincture we were talking about with the, because they're getting on up there in years, as am I.
It's a good one to.
Their bones are doing that creaking, the terrible grinding,
and then Amy, what about always a question we get asked is, if folks do have to pass a drug test or something like that in Kentucky, or they have a job with the government, do we have options for people that have to take that THC free product? And we do. We're making both.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the thing. But people, if they don't understand the plant, that you can differentiate the different cannabinoids and get the THC out to such an extent that it's not detectable, then you're safe, to try those.
This is actually a good example of a product that is THC free, but it's a broad spectrum. So you get everything that's good except that THC. And this is actually a tincture that we did formulate in hemp oil. So it's really all the plant, the lemon. So that's if anyone's interested in this one, it's the Dr. D 750 milligram broad spectrum in lemon flavor. And so that's a THC-free broad spec. It's really nice.
And so 750 milligram is like your entry level, what you suggest on
this is the entry level. This is the one where just a lot of people over the years kind of reported that they found things started to maybe work for them. Didn't work for everybody. Some people seem to say things got better. And they would usually take 25 milligrams 2 to 3 times a day, and then that's what we offer the stronger ones if folks want to go up and take the 1500s or the 3000s. If they don't find any results at the lower dosages. Another good one that we do carry, right? are the Dr. D CBD pet drops.
Oh, yeah.
All right, in bacon flavor. So this is another really nice one for the animals. They like it. We're coming out hopefully with some doggy biscuits with you guys soon, maybe.
And maybe you're going to do a salmon tincture for cats?
Yeah, the cats actually do really well with tinctures too.
My cats have 2 special needs cats. They like it. It makes them sleep. Well, one's missing a limb. She needs to get rest, and the other one's too feisty. So
We need carrot flavor for my bunny rabbits.
That's right. Everyone, if you don't know, okay, you will soon meet some of the other mascots of the Dr. D CBD team. And don't let me quote you wrong, Jason, but I believe they are 2 very large bunny rabbits.
Flemish giants.
Ah, okay. Indeed.
Wow.
Flemish giants.
what's that mean in pounds?
Wow.
They could get up to over 20 pounds. They're
Okay.
babies now,
Yeah.
but they're bigger than regular rabbits already.
So you have cats.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have a white Maltese.
What happened?
Oh, my girlfriend took a phone call and lost him.
What?
Yeah. No, we think the neighbors stole him. He was too cute.
I'm devastated.
It was when we
I
were.
liked your videos and your Insta. with
He
him.
was adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, his name was Vapor. We
Oh,
popped out of the
I'm
big
so
truck
sad.
to sell to dispensaries, and it would be us, the little white dog, in the big truck. I mean, they could not buy our products. And the products are good too.
Right, of course. Pets really do get a benefit, though. I mean, I've noticed, like I said, with the cats.
That mobility, they walk better.
Yeah, well,
That's
I
what the
mean,
research
one,
shows.
I'm not kidding. She's missing a limb in the front. I haven't told you this, but so she's on that one limb in the front all the time, and it gets so much work. I give her a
Yeah,
little tincture. She gets some rest.
nice.
Yeah, we have a question from John. He says, hey, I see that you guys have a quote-unquote nano lotion. Can you explain the difference there?
Yeah.
Between the two?
Yeah, for sure. So, whenever we're talking about nano, it's just how the bioavailability of the formulation is altered, right? Usually using a sonication or ultrasound device and some sort of carrier, right? They make the particle size a lot smaller. So whether that is then coming into contact with the oral mucosa of your mouth or with the surface of your skin, the idea is that it really is just increasing the surface area of those molecules to come in contact with you and your body and letting you absorb more of that product, right? So that is how we incorporate the oil, right, that has then been emulsified into a nano solution into some of the topicals that we make. So, when we talk about the nano, it can be used either in tinctures or it can be used in skincare. So that's one technology that we have basically in-house through all of our partners. And I think it's neat that for the brands that we're building right now, a lot of people, they do one thing or they do this or they do that, or they're really good at one thing. And for us, we have on Formulary between all of the different partners pretty much all the technology. We're constantly working with these different formulations. So whether it's a water-soluble powder or a nano solution of a certain cannabinoid, it's not that we've even just worked with a water-soluble powder or a nano solution. We've worked with like 5 or 8 different ones, and we have the ones that work the best in-house, right? Because we've made products, we've seen some things work better or some things work less, right? So that's... I think that's, and then translating that into a brand and products. Right now, we're really working on fleshing out the entire green pharmacy with just our regular cannabinoids in their general oil carriers, right? And just getting that whole SKU lineup done. And then we also have some really other cool novel products that we've added in, right, while we're doing that. And then as we go through the next year, we will take our time and we'll really release what I call some hero sort of products. So there'll be some specific nano tinctures, right, that we'll release, probably even combination cannabinoid tinctures and nano. We'll release some water-soluble tinctures. We'll release some water-soluble powder drink mixes. So yeah, when people ask like, oh, well, what do you have in your brand or why don't you have that? Well, it's just because we have so much stuff that we have to get out the door and make for the brand. We are really... taking our time and focusing on building some steady, stable SKUs and then expanding that. And that also goes to the point that we're managing a lot, right? We're also building out these massive telemedicine systems. So, we have...
And product development for you, would you say you're about 90 to 120 days on something for yourself, so that you're staging it so far ahead? Like, for example, I think right now water solubles have just become more cost effective to be formulating with, so that you can then sell the products like you were talking about.
Yeah, it depends. I can bring a new SKU to market in 6 to 8 weeks from the time we start drawing the labels, maybe faster. It just depends on how the lead times on packaging go.
But your own thinking and planning, you're about how far out do you think? Like,
it really just depends on
already what you're planning.
I think the next few months really will determine how fast we scale.
Yeah.
Right.
You'd rather do 12 or 15 products great than 30 products in.
And I will say we really have a heavy demand. We are really, we have our core products are some of our core business. I mean, we have probably 3 or 4, we just sell like crazy. So there's also an art to even just scaling on like those 4 SKU that are just selling like crazy, and making sure our supply chains and master packs are all packed on those, and then continuing to expand the brand.
Competencies, if you will.
Yeah. So I think that's that's part of the fun, is that we do have all of these products to launch. I mean, we have so many products to launch. It's we don't have enough time and people right now.
It's exciting.
Yeah, but we don't want anyone's money. We like being self-funded.
Yeah. Yes. Well, except for the consumers who want.
That's right. That's right. We'll give you guys a good deal on products for sure. What else, Jason?
Yeah, I think we got a last comment for today, but Monica wants to know, or says she's still waiting for the barbecue at the Dr. D CBD Mansion.
Yes, ma'am. So, the live events here at the brand event house in Vegas, which is only 5 or 8 minutes away from McCarran Airport, so really right where you want to be. We'll start probably, I'd say, over the next 30 to 60 days. We'll really start scheduling them, and they're going to be a mixture of events like diabetes and CBD support groups, right, where we'll host like 10 to 20 diabetic folks that want to learn more about this, arthritis support groups, and then also industry mixers, and general kind of open house public mixers where people can come and just meet us, see the house. Also, anyone else that's local in Vegas that has any sorts of interesting charities, you are welcome to reach out about using the property and collaborating, so that they can win and we get a little exposure for the brands. So that's something we're open to as well.
Do you feel deeply about diabetes and CBD? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm diabetic, so I didn't know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The data on CBD and diabetes is full spectrum, as well as the new cannabinoid THCV that is coming onto the market is quite interesting.
Yeah,
so yes, I would say that diabetic patients should definitely be following the research on CBD and THCV and seeing how these things can help.
Suppressant, right?
Appetite suppressant. It also has been shown to help some of their biomarkers of diabetes that are measured. And I think also in the wound care market, right, some of the THC-rich topical preparations are going to be making it into the wound care industry. So for diabetics that suffer from infections in their feet or amputations and things like that, some of these topical... Right. Yeah. So, this is real stuff for some of these folks. And it's a real conversation that people need to be having as the research gets better. And that's one of the really neat things we're going to be able to do. And that's why it's so cool that we're doing these early shows where you're able to reach out to your mom and dad, and they're able to reach out to their friends in Middle America, because we're going to crack the research and doctor network that I have put together over the last 5 years in this space. And that's, it was super expensive, traveling all over the place, meeting all these people, years of work, years of connections. And now you're going to be able to listen to folks like Amy and I that are here as Americans, bringing you American-made hemp products, talking to the doctors that are running the clinical trials on psoriasis or on pediatric anxiety or on PTSD and military members, or on, inflammatory bowel conditions, or on epilepsy, as well as regulators and other industry experts. So that's why it's so cool, because we get to take all of this that we have just been living every day like crazy, and that is kind of routine to us, but really show you the really interesting space that we work in. And with that, Amy, I think we better wrap it up. I know everyone's got stuff to do.
Okay.
You and I got to go, I think, craft some more wonderful CBD products, talk about what dosage we're putting in those hyaluronic acid Dr. D drenched skincare serums that are coming soon, folks.
Exciting.
And Jason, anything else before we wrap this one up?
No, that was awesome. Thank you, Amy, for coming on.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you, Mom and Dad.
If you guys have any
Yeah,
follow-up
Mom and Dad.
questions that you want Dr. D to answer on the next show, feel free to enter them below. Otherwise, we will see you next time. Make sure you like, follow, and share.
Yeah, everyone, share with your friends. Remember, that's part of the workout. Tell a friend.
Hi.
See you guys. Ciao. Bye. Good job, Amy. Even if we're still
It
on
was
the,
just
even if we're still
conversational.
on
I
the
thought
air,
I
it's all
forgot.
good.
Oh, are we still on the air?
You might hear a little bit, but